الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Okay. So Rida, had gone through the waqf because it's been a long time, right? Since
Yeah,
we had the
I'm
last
good.
session, right? So we had completed waqf here.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're starting with Ibtida. Do you remember the four categories we had in waqf?
اختباري اختياري
Okay. Mm-hmm.
انتظاري um,
Yeah.
اضطراري.
اضطرارية. Yeah. So do you remember what each one was?
Yes,
اختباري.
اختباري test when
Okay.
testing stop
Okay.
during the recitation.
Okay.
Then
اضطراري.
when you want to stop when you're sneezing or shortness of breath.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Something out of your control. Yeah. انتظاري.
انتظاري is waiting.
Okay. So this is exclusively for where you have different qira'at. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. When you're reciting one qira'ah to your shaykh, and then there is a different way of reciting that ayah, right? And you repeat that ayah again in the other recitation, right? Now, ikhtiyari.
اختياري
Now, ikhtiyari is the most important part. This is something that is in your control. Yeah. Now, all the other three were not in your control. You're either stopped by someone, right? Or you have to stop because of a certain reason, right? Which is iltirari. But ikhtiyari is when you choose to stop at a certain place, right? Yeah, so that is ikhtiyari. So that is where we had this different classifications. You had the tam, you had the kaf, you had the hasan, and you had the qabih, right? So
yeah,
all this comes in ikhtiyari. So the most important thing that we have to understand here is that there is no waqf that is haram, right?
yeah,
Unless you're stopping there to intentionally change the meaning or give it a different meaning. Yeah. So that
yeah,
is what is haram. But otherwise, it is because of ignorance. You did not understand what you're reciting. Okay, so you stop at an inappropriate place. That's all fine. Yeah. So that's important to know that there is no waqf that is haram, except that you're doing it intentionally to change the meaning. Yeah. Now, ibtida. Now we know waqf means to stop, right? Ibtida is to start, right? Now,
yeah,
ibtida, again, it could be iqtibari, right? I could ask you to start from a certain place and tell me how do we start there, right? Now, for example, you have this bi'sal in hujurat, right?
yeah.
Now, if I ask you, how do we start from this word, from this hamz al-wasl, how would you start?
الاسم
Sorry? Alism. You could have either alism. Okay, hamz al-wasl, you give it a fatha. Oh, what is the second option of starting this? Lism.
الاسم
Just giving the lam a kasra and beginning from the lism. Now here, if I say, how do we start from this word?
إيكتي لي
رضا.
فتحة
الأيكة.
أوكي
الأيكة. Right? When we start from here, this is a sukoon. We can't start from a sukoon, so we proceeded with the hamz al-wasl. Al-Aika. What about this one? Lam, sukoon. If you're going to start from
لي
here, you give the lam a kasra.
يسرى
يقطع. Right?
لي yes
Right? So all this is ikhtibari. Okay? You are not going to start when you recite the Quran, you will not stop at bits and say alism. Okay, that's not how we recite. We would be reciting it in a continuous recitation. We say bi'salismu. وأصحاب الأيكة ثم اليقطع. So all these would be just اختباري, just to test whether do you know how to start from here. Yeah. So that is ابتداء, which is اختباري. Now in ابتداء we do not have اضطراري, right? We do not have انتظاري, right? We have just اختباري, and we have, which is the second one,
اختياري.
اختياري, right?
Yeah.
Is that clear, Rudha?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So we
Yes,
just
ma'am.
have اختباري and اختياري. Okay. Now, in اختياري, you have something called ابتداء, which is حقيقي, and ابتداء, which is إضافي. Now, what is the difference? What do you mean by ابتداء that is حقيقي and ابتداء إضافي? Now, for this, you have to know when we did the difference between waqf and qata' and sect. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
What was waqf and what is qata'?
Waqf is when you're stopping and there is no
Okay.
intention to continue. And
In
qata
waqf, there
is
is no
when
intention. Are you sure? Waqf, when I
there is
say
an intention to continue.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Now, when I stopped at Alameen, what was that? Was it a waqf or was it qata'?
It's waqf.
It's waqf. Why? Because I'm stopping there. Okay, I let out the breath, and my intention is to continue, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I say lean, ameen, and that's it, I'm not going to recite any further, right? At least for the
It's
time being.
qata.
That is qata, right? My intention is not to continue from there, right? But when I stop at any point and I breathe, and then but my intention is to continue, move on to the next word, right? That is waqf. Yeah. So ibtida haqiqi. So after every waqf, the beginning, when you start the next word, that would be called ibtida idafi. Okay. Now it's Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. That Ar-Rahman, okay, which is the beginning after the waqf before it. I stopped at the word before that. Yeah. Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. That begin when I recite Ar-Rahman, that is ibtida idafi. Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So ibtida idafi is when you are beginning after a waqf. Okay? And waqf is, we said, when you stop with the intention of continuing. Right?
Mm.
Now, when I have finished my recitation, and now imagine this is you're the imam, okay, you're leading a prayer, and you're reciting the Quran, and you're reciting it loudly, right? Now you recite Fatiha. Now after Fatiha, you're reciting a surah, or you're starting from within a surah, right? So that
Yeah.
would be ibtida haqiqi,
Oh.
okay? Because so that is after a qata'. It is not after a waqf, okay? Is that clear? So that is
Yes.
ibtida haqiqi, yeah?
Okay.
Right? So that is clear. So you have two types of ibtida under ikhtiyari. One is idafi and haqiqi. Yeah. So idafi is when you are beginning after a waqf. Okay. And waqf is when you stop with the intention of continuing. Yeah. Now haqiqi is it's just a new recitation, right? So this recitation could be in a prayer, or it could be when you are beginning a recitation of your own. So before that, there was a suspended period of recitation for some time. You haven't been reciting for some time, and now you're beginning a new one. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was haqiqi. Yeah. Now in haqiqi, you have jaiz, and you have something that is called ghayr jaiz. Yeah. Now, what is jaiz? Now, again, I want you to imagine that you are leading the prayer. Okay. Now, I'll just share Quran for you. Okay. Now you see the Quran here, right? Now imagine you finished Surah Fatiha, right? Yeah. And now you're going to start وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Is this something new? Now this is this matter from here وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا. It is something new. It is the beginning. Right? It is
Mm.
not a continuation of what comes before it. It makes sense. If I say, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Is there any chance of any confusion for the people who are listening to that? Of course, we're talking about people who can understand. Yeah. People who don't understand what is being recited, it doesn't really make a difference. But in we assuming that people understand the Quran. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
when the Imam says, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. That's fine. Yeah. Because we know there is
Yeah.
something else coming after that. This is the story of Nuh alayhi salam when he was sent to his people. Right? Right?
Mm.
So that is allowed. That is jaiz. It makes sense. Right? After
Yeah.
Fatiha, you can start from وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Now, uh, instead of that, if after Fatiha, okay, I skip this ayah, okay, I skip this ayah and I say, فقال الملأ الذين كفروا من قومه ما نراك إلا بشرا مثلنا. Does that make sense? Would that cause confusion? Because
Yes.
I've just recited Fatiha, right? And I haven't
Mm.
immediately after Fatiha, I said, فَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ قَوْمِهِ. Okay, so the people in his, who disbelieved from amongst his qawm, yeah, they
Mm.
said. So now, what is this? Who are these people? Yeah, and whose people are you talking about? And who
Yeah.
are these mala, right? Did you understand that? Because we have not started it from where it is supposed to be started. We do not know that this is about Nuh alayhi salam and his qawm, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So that kind of a beginning in ibtida haqiqi would be not jaiz, would not be allowed, right? It's not because it would cause confusion, right? But if it is ibtida idafi, then it's fine, right? Because you stopped here and you're continuing from here, then that makes sense. That's fine. But as an ibtida haqiqi, starting from an inappropriate place is not
Mm.
allowed. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So that was just a minute. Do you see the screen?
Yes. And see Quran.
You still see the Quran. Okay. Okay. Do you see the PowerPoint? Or is it still the
No.
Quran?
Still Quran.
Okay. Now?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah. Okay. So that is clear. Ibtida haqiqi, you have jaiz and you have غير jaiz, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we come to ibtida idafi. Again, we have jaiz and we have غير jaiz. Now, do you remember what were the different categories we had in waqf, which were jaiz? We had tam, right?
Kafi.
What was tam? Yes, we had kaf
Complete.
and we had hasan. Now, what was tam?
Complete.
Okay, why was it complete? Do you remember the two words that were important here? The word i'rab and ma'na.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So tam,
Yeah.
a waqf tam is you're stopping and the meaning is complete there. Okay. And what comes after that? is not connected to this in either the meaning or the grammar. Do you remember that? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So let's take the same ayat. Yeah. Now here, all these ayat, do you see this ayat?
Yes, I can see, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So now all along, right up till here, it is about the two groups of people, those who believe and those who do not believe. So in general, right? Now the non-believers أولئك الذين خسروا أنفسهم وضل عنهم ما كانوا يفترون لا جرم أنهم في الآخرة هم الأخسرون. Now إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأخبتوا إلى ربهم أولئك أصحاب الجنة. So مثل الفريقين. So the two groups are like those who can see, okay, those who are blind and deaf, and those who can see and hear. So this is comparing the two groups, which are the non-believers and the believers, right? So this is all in general. Now we come to something that is new. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ. Yeah, this is specifically about Nuh alayhi salam, right? So now this beginning, it is not related to what comes before it, right? In either the i'rab
Yeah.
or the meaning, ma'na, right? So starting from this would be an ibtida that is tam. It is complete.
Um,
Did you understand that?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah? Okay. So that is ibtida, that is tam. Now what was kaf?
Sufficient.
Okay, sufficient. What is waqf? When we did waqf kaf is what? Again, using the same words, i'rab, which is a grammar, and ma'na, which is a meaning. So when you stop at a waqf that is kaf, okay, now what comes after it is connected to it in meaning, but not in the grammar part. Yeah? So it is connected to it in the ma'na, but not in the i'rab, right? Now, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Yeah? So we had sent Nuh alayhi salam to his people. Now, أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ. So who's saying this? أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ إِنِّي أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمْ. It's Nuh alayhi salam, right? So it is connected in, right? It is
Yes.
connected to this ayah in the meaning. But the way the sentence is constructed, the i'rab part of it is different, right? Yeah? The same thing. فَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ قَوْمِهِ. So this is again continuation. It's continuation of what comes before this, right? So all these ayat you see are coming one after the other. It's all continuous in meaning, but the way the grammar part of it, yeah, you have فَقَالَ, yeah, أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا, you have the present tense, you have the past tense. So the way the sentence is constructed, there is a difference, but the meaning, it's all connected, right?
Yeah.
Did you understand that, Ruba?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So now when you have a situation like that where the meaning is connected, but the grammar construction of the grammar sentence is different, there is a difference. Okay, so there is a difference in the i'rab, but there is the ma'na is connected. Then beginning from that ayah or that point would be a ibtida that is kaf. Yeah. So here when you say alla ta'budu illallah, the ibtida is kaf, right? Or فقال الملأ الذين كفروا, it is kaf. Okay. قال يا قوم أرأيتم, again this Nuh alayhi salam telling to his people. Okay, this is his people talking to him. So it's all connected. Okay, it is just, it's that one scene, right? Right? So all these ayat are connected in meaning. So all these beginnings, wherever you stop and you begin from here, this would be a ibtida that is kaf. Yeah? Did you get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when I say وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ, that's fine. It makes sense, right? Nuh alayhi salam, we sent Nuh alayhi salam to his people. right? It makes sense. Now, inni lakum nadhirum mubin. What is inni lakum nadhirum mubin? I am to you a clear warner.
Yeah.
Now, if I say inni lakum nadhir, does that make sense?
No.
Is that true? It doesn't. I am to you a warner. Is that not clear? I mean, is that not uh does that not make sense? It's true. I am a warner, right?
Mm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes sense, right? Now, but when I say Nadir, and then I don't stop and then say Mubin, yeah,
Yeah.
because Mubin is connected to this Nadir both in the i'rab and in meaning, yeah. Now, Nadirun Mubinun, right? Did you understand
Mm.
that? Right?
We can
So
start zero, please.
yeah, you can say Nadhirum Mubin. Okay? You can stop at Nadir, that's fine. Yeah. Inni lakum Nadhirum Mubin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So again, Ibtida Hassan would be when you're beginning, okay, uh, the word on its own, it would make sense, right? But then because it is strongly connected to what comes before it in both the meaning and the grammar, okay, you start again from the previous word. Yeah. You could either say inni lakum nadhirum mubin, or you can say nadhirum mubin, whatever, but bring this together. Yeah. Although stopping at this would have made sense, but it's not complete. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Right.
yeah, ma'am.
That's clear, inshallah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll go back to, yeah. What do you see? I don't know, this is so confusing. Yeah,
Quran.
it's in the Quran, right? Okay.
Yes.
Um, okay, so we've done jaiz. What are jaiz? We have tam, you have kaf, and you have hasan, right? The same thing as it was in waqf, right? So if you have really understood that in waqf, what is tam, what is kaf, and hasan, it would be easy to understand this also, inshallah. Yeah. And of course, we have غير جائز, which is قبيح. Remember, in waqf also we had غير جائز,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the same thing. So what would ابتداء قبيح mean?
Um.
Now take this. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله. Okay, now if I'm going to recite the whole thing, okay, and I stop at لا يعصون, okay, what is لا يعصون? They do not disobey. We're talking about the malaika, okay? They do not disobey. So for whatever reason, I stop here. It could be اضطراري, or it could be ikhtiyari also. Okay? Yeah. Now, if I'm going to start again, if I say يعصون الله ما أمرهم, would the meaning change?
Yes.
The meaning
We'll
would be
start
completely
from
opposite.
la. Yeah.
Sorry? Yeah,
We have to start
because
from
لا
la.
يعصون, they do not disobey Allah. لا يعصون الله. Now, if I stop here, okay, and then I begin from يعصون الله ما أمرهم, the meaning would completely change. Right? It means they would disobey Allah, right? So that kind of ibtida is ibtida qabih, or it is غير جائز, it is not allowed, right? Okay, because whatever you're beginning from and what comes before it, it's strongly connected. And okay, the difference between this and Hassan is Hassan, we said that it is strongly connected to what comes before it, but you just saying that word alone or that ayah alone, it still makes sense. But still, we start from what comes before it, right? to give it a more complete meaning. But in the case of qabih, it is strongly connected. But when you begin from there, okay, the meaning changes or it gives an incomplete meaning. Yeah. Now, another example of Hassan, وَالَّذِي جَاءَ بِالصِّدْقِ وَصَدَّقَ بِهِ أُولَئِكَ. Okay. I stop at أُولَئِكَ. Okay. But I don't say, I don't stop and then say هم المتقين هم المتقون. لا. Right? We say أُولَئِكَ هم المتقون. Right? So that is Hassan. Right? But qabih is when you start from a certain point, yeah, the meaning would change, right? So that is the difference between qabih and Hassan. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was ibtida. Any doubts in ibtida, Rada? So it all boils down to